Is my screen fading? Oh,
Hey, how you guys doing? This is producer from Brothers Comics. Welcome to what is this? Who Dey Over 40, our Cincinnati Bengals podcast for long suffering Cincinnati Bengals fans. Who Dey, everybody. We are back. I didn't even look, Hutch, to see when was the last time we actually recorded, but the Goat Killer said we didn't record it since the Bengals went 2-0 and Joe Burrow got hurt. Does that sound right? Doesn't sound right.
we did Who Day versus Free Agency 4 months ago.
Okay. All right. Had they signed anybody at that point? Or it was just like the preview of free agency? Like it was about to happen and we didn't know?
I think they signed somebody
Okay.
at that time.
All right. Well, we're going to go over it. And today, as we get through this, Bengals training camp opens up on July 26th. So literally a week away from today when rookies report. Preseason games on August the 13th. We'll do our annual event where we go through the schedule to see what's going on. And then if you listen to us before, you'll kind of understand and know. And again, this Who Dey Over 40, we're both well over that mark. But also, we've got scars, bruises, emotional baggage, whatever you want to call it, from this team. And so the podcast at times can tend to go a little bit negative, and rightfully so, because they've placed us in that category. But this offseason, even as jaded as I am, I'm not sure how far on the jaded scale that you are, the Bengals went completely off script, whatever expression that you want to use, because I do believe that they realized, like, if they didn't do this, it was going to be a massive overhaul change with an unhappy quarterback, which would lead to two unhappy wide receivers, and you were going to have to blow up the thing from the atoms. So rightfully, it's like we call certain people out. This is the people that pay their taxes, on the 15th of April, man. You're like, well, you dragging me to do it, but I'm going to do it. So they finally did it, and that's what we're going to kind of go over today. Am I saying anything that's wrong?
All of that is correct, sir. And there's some stuff out there missing.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll go through that today. So if we haven't talked since free agency, we'll talk free agency, what happened, what didn't happen, maybe what could have and should have happened. We'll talk the draft and everything about the trade. And, again, the Bengals just completely going off script. So let's get started. If you're on YouTube, you can just follow along here. If you're on the podcast side, just hang on. So the offseason. Kind of what I alluded to, you had a bunch of unhappy people. I mean, that season just really went south, and his injury was only a small part of it, to be fair, because Joe Flacco came in and actually played relatively well and scored points, but the defense was just an absolute dumpster fire. I have the record wrong here. It was 6-11, 3 non-playoff seasons in a row, the first losing season in the past 5 seasons. And everybody was unhappy. The Bengals players were unhappy, especially their star players. Those exit interviews was like, you know what? We need to do something. Jamar Chase at the end of I guess it was the Bears game. Can we, yelling like, can we just get one stop? All we need is one stop, after they had put up a ridiculous amount of points and lost, and they put the pressure.
Him spitting on people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a whole bunch of just juvenile, no discipline, horrible shit for 17 weeks.
Yeah, and it was, and again, losing brings out the best of you or the worst of you. And I think that frustration, especially with him being injured, it just brought out. And so even though they have that great game on Thanksgiving or whatever, they followed up with an absolute shit show against the Ravens, like 3 weeks later, where they don't score any points in Cincinnati, no less, against a team that really wasn't that good to begin with. And so everybody knows, like, hey, we need to score.
Didn't we lose all our AFC North people at home?
That I don't know.
We lost to the Browns
at the
and
end
we lost
of the
to the Ravens.
Yeah, and then they beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh, which was the Flacco game.
So we lost to Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah.
So we lost all of them.
So everybody knew that they need to, address the defense, do something about that. It's really been the common theme for now going on 3 seasons, and it's probably no coincidence that they haven't made the playoffs. And the Bengals are like a lot of teams too, all right, well, we're going to pay these people on either side of the ball. So the Bengals have chosen to play all their players on offense. And so we're going to draft and do young on defense. But if you don't draft well, that plan's not going to work. And they are exhibit A, B, and C in that process.
And you might want to say, you might also want to throw in, did we hire the right defensive coach?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a part of it too. And I was just thinking before we started to record, not giving him a full pass, but he came in with a bunch of players that he didn't pick and who didn't fit the system or whatever. And, those guys eventually, when we get to the losses in free agency, those are all, Lou guys that wind up leaving too, because it's just, you're trying to mix those two things together. It's like a step family, man, and everybody ain't the Brady Bunch. And you have all these misaligned parts on top of the fact that a lot of those parts aren't any good to begin with. And it just wound up, completely off. But to be fair, they did get better in the second half of the season, whether the competition was worse or whatever. They were better. They ranked 29th and 30th in the NFL in points allowed and points and yards. 29th, I think, and 31st. Second half of the season, they ranked 15th in the last 8 games of the season. So it did get better, but they were still, even with that big of an improvement, at a point they were almost giving 500 yards a game. I mean, it was beyond embarrassing. Like, why are you even watching the defense? You knew they were going to score eventually, and that's kind of how I treated last season. So, but all right, how bad? Yeah, ranked 30th against points scored against, 31st in yards giving up, which again, that first half, it was just absolute a sieve as that people were running. Record in Bengals games where they've scored 38 points or more in the last 2 seasons. They're 1-4. The rest of the league, 62-4. I mean, you're doing an impossible thing being able to lose those games. It's impossible. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. Nobody loses those games.
And you could have lost, and that Pittsburgh game could have been a loss that we won.
Yeah, it was a mess, or it has been a mess, and now we're like, okay, what are they going to do? So in that probably that free agency thing that we were going to talk about, like, all right, well, they got to address this. We're probably jaded enough to think they're not going to address it because we've tried to do that. Everybody's been begging and pleading. Although then this offseason, Super Bowl week, Radio Row, like all those dudes are on there, especially Jamar and T. Like, hey, man, get Max Crosby, do something, anything for God's sake. Stop the bleeding. Right. And, again, at the start of free agency, you wouldn't have thought that anything was going to happen. It was the typical addition by subtraction. There were some dudes that were going to be going. I'm picking on Geno Stone because it's really just become a Bengal meme almost at this point. I mean, he was awful. He should have never been signed to begin with. He never fit. The Jesse Bates hole grows deeper and deeper every single year. And he was just, the cherry on top.
He was a legacy player that, hey, if we bring him back, maybe, the cornerbacks or the back four will do better.
Yes, they had him take a pay cut for the start of the season, which I'm sure didn't help his motivation to play. He can't tackle. He is the legitimate, just a free safety. Like, if he has to do anything outside of play center field, he's just completely lost. And they had him doing too much because he's not Jesse Bates, obviously. And shit. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, Jesse Spano. Shout out. Saved by the Bell, folks. So it went south completely, starting from him, and then everything else was bad. And so when we get to the offseason, it's addition by subtraction. So he leaves, and again, a bunch of Lou Anarumo guys, Joseph Osai goes to, I think, to the Jets, Cam Sample to the 49ers, Tyson Anderson, I think he went to the Broncos, Cam Taylor-Britt winds up with Lou in Indianapolis, Geno Stone winds up signing with the Bills. I mean, just addition by subtraction. And then the biggest one obviously being Trey Hendrickson, who clearly didn't want to be here, probably faked an injury for the most of that season to save himself. I am a conspiracy brother at certain things. That very much felt like, I don't want to play.
$17 million bonus. Thanks.
Right. Yeah. That definitely felt like, and again, if you've listened to this show before, we don't knock the players' hustles. Like, if you can get away with it, get your money, like whatever. Like, that's really not a thing. You know, he wasn't stealing money in the traditional sense because he had played so well up to that point. But that was just a marriage that was eventually going to break apart. And again, you don't listen to all these podcasts or read all these things, but like, it seems like he was unhappy from this jump.
He was.
He just wanted. He wanted like every. He should have just kept signing.
He wanted a long-term deal, guaranteed money,
yeah,
and whatever. And he was not worth that
at that age. No, but also like from the beginning of him signing, like he played well the first year. Like he wanted to renegotiate then, and the Bengals, you know, we don't negotiate with terrorists, you know. And that just put everybody on the thing. So then he played well again. So then he did I mean, he should have just kept signing 1-year deals and try, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't. They kept giving him these extensions and giving him more money, but he was never happy. Yeah. So, I mean, that's an addition by subtraction, probably in a locker room situation that probably people aren't that upset about. Because
except for them 2 games that are coming up. But
there's a world that he might be shot. But,
there's a world, but unfortunately, I think he knows all of our left tackles moves, and he
only plays on the other side. He only plays on the other side.
He knows right tackle moves too.
Yeah, good luck with that. So a lot of these dudes left. Again, like, okay, well, this guy left, but they sucked already, so you can't technically get any worse because you were 29 and 31. I guess there is a little bit of room for deprovement. But then that's when free agency starts. Those guys all make their departures. And then when free agency, you know, does start for the Bengals, they don't make any moves on the first day. And I think it actually gets into the second day. They sign Brian Cook, who's the highest ranked safety from the Chiefs, you know, the highest free agent safety that was on the board. They get him, Brian Cook. They signed Boye Mafe, defensive end / kind of 3-4 linebacker type player from the Seahawks off their Super Bowl. And it's like, oh, okay, so we're going to sign some players that, you know, some veterans. And I think they finally came to the point, Hutch, was like, you just can't keep rolling these dudes out there like these young kids. It's just like, if you're not going to draft well, which is suspect, then you're going to have to sign veterans and spend money. Like, that's it. Like, you know, that's fine. Like,
and hope they work out.
Right. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, surely you cannot be serious that you're just not going to do anything. Okay.
They could not do anything.
Yeah. They were forced into a corner and they were going to have to sign people. They didn't sign any linebackers because the Bengals just were refusing. And I don't blame them. I'm not paying $15 million for a linebacker at this point either.
But okay, so Burrow restructured his contract to free up some money.
You're jumping ahead. That's after all.
Right. But who are they gonna sign then? But yes,
jumping ahead.
Put that in the thing. Yes, sir.
So they waited a day. They wind up signing these 2 dudes. And then later on, they signed Jonathan Allen, another defensive tackle. They signed Kyle Duggar away from the Steelers, you know, who plays that safety kind of hybrid linebacker type role. They don't sign any linebackers. They're going with, you know, Knight and Carter. And it's like, oh, okay, we're going to roll these veterans out there. It more than anything, you know, I hate this expression sometimes, but it raised the floor. Like the ceiling, I don't know where it is, but the floor was in hell. At least now they got it to a reasonable amount of like, okay, like these dudes can play better than the people that they're going to replace. And again, the Bengals don't have to be an elite defense. It would be great if they were. But if they can be a ranked 15th, it's obviously, you know, barring any injuries or whatever, it's obviously a playoff team with their offense. And so I think what they did was raise the floor from hell because it couldn't have gotten any lower, man. Like, shit.
Well,
Velasco.
There are 32 teams. I think Dallas was 32.
Yeah, Velasco was down there with Ileana, playing defense because this is just awful. It was just so freaking bad. Like, I don't know about you, and we probably had the conversation in group chat. When did you stop like watching? Like how far did it get into the season? Like where you were like, you know what, I'm not wasting my time with this. I'll find out later.
I think Well, I mean, the season was shot. We pretty much all knew it after Burrow went down officially.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we watched 2-2. I mean, that Vikings game was awful.
Yeah, that was bad.
The Denver game was awful. That Chicago game might have broke me. And then I came back for the Ravens game, and then whatever.
Yeah, I think the last time I paid much attention to it, and you know where this part of that story was going, is that I'm stuck in the airport from the Lions game in Columbus, and just waiting for my flight out, and it's just like, oh my God, can you stop anybody at this point?
I was driving back from Ohio during that game.
Yeah, it's just you can't stop. It was so bad, and I think that's when I was done. I know I woke up the day after Thanksgiving or whatever. Goat killers like, oh my God, they won, they crushed them. Really, I was like, they did. Oh, okay. Burrows first came back from the injury, blah 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 blah. And again, they have some, the dead cat bounce. We talk about this all the time. Beat Arizona, beat the Ravens and lose to the Ravens again, and then lose to Cleveland in the last game of the season in a game that, nobody cared other than, Myles Garrett getting the sack record.
Right.
But, and that's a conspiracy theory too. But it just didn't matter. And so now they realize that they messed up and it continually messed up. And if they didn't make these changes, go ahead.
And all the other coaches in the division got canned.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead. But yes, I agree. So, but let's not forget who they did bring back. They brought back Dalton Risner, the guard, who let Joe Burrow get hurt. But to be fair, he'd been playing for the team for like 36 hours at that point. Joe Flacco comes back. Jalen Davis, who had inherited, who took over the slot corner spot. And they extended Orlando Brown Jr. So they brought some people back, some internal people. But then external free agency, they signed those other guys. They did pass on Myles Murphy's fifth-year option, which is probably a mistake, but we'll figure it out at the end of the season. And because they spent so much money, which we're coming up as to where a lot of that money went, they just didn't have the money for Myles Murphy to get his which was, I think, maybe $15 million or so for somebody who's never had more than 5 sacks. I could see how you would want to play that out too. And not give him that money, but it is what it is. But then the Bengals shocked everybody. I know I was shocked. I would imagine that you were too, and most Bengal fans were, even though it was percolating for a while. Like, you're not on social media. BJ Hill had constantly been like, they call it free agency emoji season. A lot of the players will be posting emojis or whatever. Like, what?
Pay me and trade me. Yeah.
Right. These types of things. And, there had been a rumor that he was like, he just didn't want to be in New York anymore. Like, he was done with them. I think they were done with him as well. And it was just like, okay, well, he's going to get traded. Then he wasn't going to get traded. Then all these, and then BJ Hill is constantly like, emoji eyes, like all of these things. And it was like, man, the Bengals are never going to do this. Like, whatever it's going to cost them to trade him, they're not going to do it. The Bengals have a top 10 pick in the draft, but based on their record, the Bengals are not going to trade a top 10 pick for anybody, let alone Dexter Lawrence. Even though they did make an inquiry into Max Crosby as well, who became available after the Ravens backed out of that trade themselves and signed Trey Hendrickson. It's like, oh, okay, maybe, who knows? But they make that trade for the 10th pick. It's straight up, they don't give up anything else. They don't get any picks back either. And not only do they make the trade for him, then they sign him to an extension at about $28 million a year. And it's like, oh, okay. Like there's not another shocking moment in Bengal trade history or even free agent history, to be fair. I guess maybe signing Orlando Brown Jr. was like, oh, wow, I never expected him to do that. But this was on a completely different level.
That was, I was shocked. I think it was the right move. I think.
Oh, I do too. And we'll talk about the draft in a second. Like, this is a huge swing by the Bengals. Again, he had an off season last year because he had an elbow concern. Allegedly, it's not a concern anymore. I mean, this is an all
$28 million. Heals lots of wounds.
Right. And I mean, again, this is a all pro player, not a fake Pro Bowl player. This is a all pro defensive first team player.
Top 10 defensive lineman in the league.
Yes. Shit. We saw when they played the Giants 2 years ago that him absolutely destroying Ted Karras and getting to Joe Burrow and almost injuring him too. And he is that dude. He is that dude. If there's a dude, he's that dude. And so now when you put him in the middle of your defense and you have like BJ Hill and Jonathan Allen, the Chris Jenkins of the world don't make a lot of snaps. Yeah, well, or they don't get a lot of snaps or they get traded or get cut. The McKinley Jacksons of the world aren't going to have a lot of snaps over there. And so now you have Mboye Mafe at your defensive end spot and Miles Murphy. Now, all of these dudes that you were thinking were going to come in and play or had to play, now they're at limited snaps, which probably makes them a little bit better as there's no pressure and they'll be fresh or whatever. And the Bengals built something that we haven't seen in years, maybe since some of the Zimmer years, like actual defensive line depth. Like you can go to the second unit there and be like, oh, okay. Like if Jonathan Allen is your third defensive tackle, you're doing all right. He's old, but if he's only playing third defensive tackle snaps, like you're doing okay there. And it just shifted everything. And it made the defense, at least on paper, not a co-equal to the offense, but at least it's closer.
At least get to the early 20s on defense.
Right. Brian Cook makes your middle of your defense better. They didn't address the linebacker situation, and everything that I've read is just like their thought is the defensive line will be better. So all those dudes got to do is go and tackle.
They're doing what the Eagles did and the Seattle did in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And this is an old school football topic too. So the idea that you're going to have like this whatever linebacker is an old person thought at this point, because all the good linebackers became defensive ends, like kind of undersized, rush attack, those types of dudes, or they dropped weight and became safeties. Like that's it. Like there's like this idea. Oh, you got this dude in the middle. He's 6'2", 260 pounds. Right? Yeah, because you can't keep him on the field for third down because he can't cover. You can't. So you got to have, somewhat other linebackers and have some defensive linemen in front of them to be like, okay, they locked up all these linemen. Yeah, and then I could just go tackle. Like, that's it. That's it.
Or shoot the gap.
And Seattle just won a Super Bowl with that because name a linebacker on that fucking team. Exactly. So, it's a philosophy change, I think, for the league or whatever. But now the Bengals have one of the better defensive tackles. So that should definitely help everybody.
A defensive tackle and a defensive end that has some pedigree.
Correct.
That can hopefully shave off a yard or two on people running on us. And hopefully everything gets better.
Yeah, I mean, and again, whether you think he's going to suck or turn the corner or whatever, you still have Shamar Stewart as a first-round pick from last year. Like, I mean, there's depth there. Like, I mean, it's hard when you look at it on paper. It's like, golly, if that wasn't the Bengals, you'd be like, those are some dudes. Like, those are some dudes. Yeah, if it wasn't the Bengals. So now you got to turn paper into action, and they've, we'll see what goes on. It's a classic Marvin Lewis. I see better than I hear, so I see better than I read too. So let's see if they're able to do it. But this was huge. Right?
It was definitely right. The number 10 pick was not going to help us, I don't think.
I agree. And, Goat Killer comes running downstairs when this happens. Like, they did it. I'm like, I'm thinking, I don't know, what? They bombed Iran again? Like, what happened? No. They traded for Dexter Lawrence. So, and then you get to the drive, and the Bengals, again, recognizing that they still have some concerns, and then they did something that's completely out of their wheelhouse too. They signed an undersized defensive end. One of these dudes that I'm talking about. Like Cassius Howell is one of those dudes in a different world. He's probably a linebacker or a linebacker in a 3-4, which is kind of where the Bengals might be leaning towards too a little bit. And
Hope not.
They freaking, they signed him. I mean, dude from Texas A&M, he's a freaking beast, bro. Like, he's like could get to the quarterback like very, very easily. So if that's all you're asking him to do, that's probably something that that's probably something that he can do. And so now we're running like Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, Cassius Howell, your defensive ends, and then Moe Bafe out there. Like, those are some decent options here. And then they draft, some offensive line depth for the future. They get Connor Lew, shout out Cobb County for him, even though he went to Auburn. They just filled out the draft with some people that they think are going to be able to help them down the road, because there's no spots for any young players on this team at this point.
There is no tomorrow for this team.
Oh yeah, it's coming up. But yes, I was like, oh okay, normally if you listen or follow us, we usually do a draft a draft podcast, or we just go and talk until the Bengals make a pick. They traded that pick away, so there was no reason to do that. The Bengals were going to get screwed on that 10th pick, even though kind of, they were going to be forced to draft a non-premium position, and that's not good. Like, hey, you and I, we love Caleb Downs. Like, we think he's going to be a really good player.
He will.
Whatever you feel about, Sonny Styles or whatever, like drafting linebackers in the top 10, if you historically – is especially new history, the last 15 to 20 years, is not a winning strategy, and neither is safety. It's just not a winning strategy. I think maybe I text this or put it in the group chat. So when you sign as a first round pick, you get that 5th year option. There's been no linebacker that has signed that 5th year option that was drafted in the top, none. Like, they get to the 4th year because you have to pay them like defensive end, because there's no position thing. So they have to pay him like a defensive lineman. I'm not going to pay $16 million to a linebacker if they're not obviously elite. So none have signed. None. 0, 0, 0, which is crazy. The Bengals weren't going to draft a non-premium position. It did turn out like they could have gotten a kid from the University of Miami, but he was undersized, but they just wound up drafting an undersized dude in round 2. So I don't know. It's a very non-Bengal draft. It's very they haven't been themselves. And then jumping up to that point, as you said, and then the Bengals decided to restructure a contract of Joe Burrow. Like, again,
now this shocked me more than the trade out of the 10th pick.
Yeah, so they were like, okay, we got probably up against the cap a little bit more so than usual, as Joe Burrow's money's hitting, Mars' money's hitting, T's money hitting, and then the $28 million contract for Dexter Lawrence. Everything is kind of running up. Mm-hmm. And so they decided to restructure Joe Burrow's contract, create more money for him to be able to sign somebody or give him at least a little bit of a buffer before training camp starts. If they wanted to sign somebody, it feels like that some of that money might be earmarked for an extension. More than likely, it's going to be DJ Turner. But there's rumors out there they're going to try to re-sign both cornerbacks, although I can't believe they'll bring back Dax after drafting the cornerback in round 3. But this was a big deal because the Bengals never do this.
Never. Yeah. You either there. We'll ask you to lose some money,
mm-hmm.
but and it stays lost, but not restructure.
Well, the Bengals have been, besides living in Cincinnati and eating freaking cinnamon flavored chili, one of the reasons that people sign there outside of Joe Burrow is that if you sign with Cincinnati, you're going to get your money. Like, they rarely cut dudes because they don't like eating dead money on that salary cap. So even if you suck, they probably are going to keep you, and you'll get your money till the end of the contract because they like to play it out that way. Now, the Bengals are betting on and again, the salary cap goes up every single year. Why are you not pushing money out into the future? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Go Dodgers.
Yeah, it makes no sense to not do it. Like, them not doing, and again, and they have the ability to restructure T and Jamar too to create more space. And there's the Bobby Wagner rumor that's been hanging out there for a while now as a linebacker. He's also 38. But, he's probably better than the two dudes that they have. And if nothing else, he could at least mentor them or take a couple of snaps away or something,
or whoop their ass, something.
Yeah, something. But it feels like that money's going to be earmarked for an extension for somebody. They have Amarius Mims coming up, who's going to break the bank at right tackle. Like, he's going to get a shit ton of money, and no matter how we feel because they went to school up north, they did play better in the second half than that last year. Dax, if I'm him, I'm not staying in Cincinnati because y'all put me at safety and didn't draft me at safety and didn't play me. And then you put me at safety and I didn't really know what I was doing. Then you put me at corner and I was doing okay. Then you put me at slot corner. It was like, I'm doing okay there. Then I tear my ACL. You know what I mean? He's the ultimate fresh start dude. Like, you need to get the hell out of there. And then DJ Turner played as, at a Pro Bowl level. And it feels like he changed his number and the Bengals allowed it. He's getting an extension like that. That's a given at this point. So, you don't have a lot of cornerback depth outside of those two. But we get killed. The tight ends, wide or running backs out the backfield, and that slot receiver. Everybody was tearing this up last year. Yeah, last year, right? Yeah, and again, there was never no threat of a pass rush in this situation last year, especially once Trey went down. There was no threat of a pass rush at all. But yeah, so yeah, man, it's a completely upside down offseason for the Bengals. Completely,
and the reason is the picture in the screen, number 9.
Yes, and he's happy. Again, you're not a social media dude. I mean, again, say what you will about Dexter Lawrence, and again, if you listen to Giants fans, they're all pissed off, but that's just being salty. But he's never left Cincinnati after he got there. He never left. He was at the training facility all the time. He was there.
They said he enjoyed the food too much.
Yeah, he was sitting on. Whatever. That's just salty. I mean, there's a picture of him, Sam Hubbard, and Joe Burrow getting Mexican food somewhere in downtown Cincinnati. What are we doing? And again, all the social media, all the videos Reese by the team. He's out there teaching these young kids, and he's doing it all. And again, living in New York probably ain't the easiest thing in the world. And let's be honest, since he's been there, they've kind of sucked.
They super sucked.
Yeah. So that probably, and the quarterback situation isn't any better than when he started there.
Right.
So yeah, it's time. Maybe it's you know what? I'm getting old. I'm 28, going on 29. It's time for me to go.
It's a great deal if he works out. If he plays like he played up until last season,
yeah,
he should be. Like I said, we need to shave off at least two yards off of every run play. That will help us out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it is,
and add 3 or 4 sacks be nice too.
Yeah. So this is what all in looks like for the Bengals. This is all in, Hutch. There is no tomorrow. This is it. They opened up, I would say, probably a 2-year window because of salary cap and age. They probably opened up a 2-year window where they have the opportunity to, at a minimum, make the playoffs based on the schedule, which we'll talk about here in a moment. At a minimum, make the playoffs. But with the AFC North being a complete flux, 3 new coaches, freaking 9 different coordinators. It's completely upside down, especially at the start of the season.
And all of them got quarterback problems.
Right, all of them got quarterback problems. Yeah, Lamar, but
about to retire, or are they unhappy?
Yeah, Lamar's unhappy. Yeah, and Lamar's unhappy. And they're going to break him off, but he's not happy either. Right. But it's there for you in this 2-year window. Whatever happens in the NFC, you can't control that. Whether Myles Garrett goes to the Rams and then now they're freaking their retired defensive tackles thinking about coming out of retirement.
Aaron Donald.
Thank you. You can't control that or whatever. But
they'll be waiting there.
Yeah, but it. You know what I'm saying? The AFC is not strong at all. There's no top heavy team.
Right. There are right. The Steelers do not have 4 pro Hall of Famers on their team right now. The Ravens don't have 4 first ballot Hall of Famers on their team right now. So and you just got rid of the defensive player of the decade or the last 10 years or 9 years. You don't have to see him until maybe 58.
Yeah. But I'm talking about I'm talking about the AFC in general. Like,
no, yeah, the AFC in
the
general
North is whatever, but like, oh my God, you're talking Blake.
Right. The Patriots will have a first place schedule this year, and people will be waiting for them.
Right.
The Bills are the Bills. They're
the Bills
not
right. And they're transitioning new coaching coordinators too. Like, it's just
right. Yeah. The Chargers are self-check. The Chiefs are a wreck.
Yeah.
So it's right. It is there.
It's there for the taking.
And you got to win it.
Yep. And again, barring an injury to 9, and again, like, God forbid, something happened to Dexter Lawrence or whatever, everything shifts. But even then, at that point, you still shouldn't fall. The floor shouldn't fall to hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should still fall, obviously, but it shouldn't go into the bottom of the tank.
Joe Flacco gets you to 8-9.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Joe Flacco gets you 8-9. So you got the AFC. The AFC South is the Texans can be something, and the Jacksonville could be something. But the South, the NFC South sucks.
Yes. Yeah. It's there for them. And again, you got a window. It's probably 2 years, and you gotta get something in these 2 years. So
but you can't. But here, you got to win. I think you got to win the North.
Oh no, playoffs is a minimum. I mean, if you get in as a wild card or whatever, I mean, that's kind of what they did. One of the 2 years they went back to back. Like, it's fine, but like, you can't not make the playoffs. Like, that's a nuclear option if you don't make the playoffs. Right.
If you don't make the playoffs, right. You are cooked. If number 9 goes down, you're cooked.
Right. And again, which is normal, which should happen, but have you done the things to make sure that doesn't happen? Yeah, bringing back the same offensive line. Again, I know you and Goat Killer got into it on the group chat or whatever. I mean, they were ranked like in the top half, at least in terms of pass protection. But you also have a running back who all-purpose almost got to like 1,300 or 1,400 yards. He just missed getting 1,000 2 seasons in a row. He got hurt the last season. So, I mean, it's just they're not great, but they're good enough.
They're good enough. I would love to be able to make 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 on the run. But that's why they got silver rings now.
Well, I don't know. So yeah, it's if not now, when
if you don't win this year, if you don't make the playoffs this year, if we go 8-9 this year and don't make the playoffs,
no, it's a nuclear option.
Right. You're gonna get the coach is gone.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Joe Burrow's gonna be like, I don't want to start all over again.
Yeah.
And then it just rolls down the fucking hill.
Yeah. So, but that's why I'm like, if you're gonna do this all in shit, then sign freaking, Bobby whatever,
Barry Wagner, right?
Yeah, but sign
you are all fucking in.
Yeah, sign Bobby Wagner. Do those veteran signings that are the ones that push teams over the top,
right?
And it made
sign
me
LeBron James, whatever it takes.
It made me mad because it makes me mad because when you think about the Bengals in 14 or 15, the year that Dalton broke his thumb. Like, that was a year that you should have gone all in. Like, hey, you made the playoffs. Like, this is the year that you sign like dudes to get you over the top because everybody knew he was limited. You were going to need something additional to get you over the top. And they've refused to do it. And you can go back to the Carson years as well. Like, y'all refuse to do the 1 or 2 things, maybe more than 2 things, but a couple of moves that would have solidified you to be able to make a run in the playoffs. Like, there's no reason that you should have made the playoffs 7 years and didn't make any of them because you got there and, all of your flaws. No, and all your flaws came out because you didn't have anybody to steady it. So, yeah. And again, I'm a believer in Joe Burrow. Like, I believe if you put him in the playoffs, good luck to the team that's playing against him. I really do believe that. Like, in
the AFC, yes.
Yeah.
You should. We got it's even money if we get Joe Burrow and this team mostly healthy into the playoff.
Yeah,
he has more wins on the in playoff games on the road than he has at home.
Yeah, I'm conspiracy brother. Like I do believe 2 years ago that nobody wanted to play the Bengals in the playoffs. Absolutely not. They did not. The way they closed out the season,
and we got jobbed in Kansas City.
Yeah,
it could have been 2 years in a row in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, agreed. So all right. So
let's get it. And one more thing. I got one more thing. I got a hot take. Joe Burrow is the Caitlin Clark of the NFL.
That's not. He gets shit on way more than that lady does. It's not even close.
He don't get shit on like her. But the advocates love him, and they're like, he's the best quarterback ever.
The internet and discourse would definitely disagree with you about Joe Burrow. Like a lot of the Joe Burrow discourse that I see, and Goat Killer's not around here to confirm this, but a lot of discourse I see is that he's not good. He's only propped up by those 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers, and Hey, Goat Killer,
he's better. He's better than his 2. I mean, receivers help a lot, but he knows the game. He knows the offense. He can find an open receiver. He just can't take a hit.
Yeah, well,
a good hit.
I don't think it's that he extends plays too long and winds up taking too many hits. If anything, Flacco hopefully and showed in the offense there because he wasn't trying to take hits, and then when he did, that's when everything went south there too. Shouts out to Quarterback Season 3 on Netflix. Everything went south after J.J. Watt landed on his freaking shoulder, or T.J. Watt, or whichever Watt it was, and. Essentially ended his season because he couldn't put Zip on the ball anymore. Right. But before that, the offense was humming under him. They were scoring points because he wasn't taking hits. Drop back, see the receiver, makes a throw. Joe Burrow can do that, but he often is, he's big game hunting continually.
He wants to be the hero. He reads his press clippings.
Yeah,
all that.
I think that's just instinctually how he is. Like, he was like that at freaking LSU too. But this ain't LSU. You're gonna have to learn like that. You can't do it. Like, you're about to be. I think he just turned 30. Like, you can't do this in this league, man. You won't last, and he hasn't.
He's missed 25% of his games.
Yeah. So, but all right. So yeah, home opener against the Bucks. Ironically, open in Orange on September the 13th. First preseason game's on August the 13th. So I mean, we're here right now, man. We're knocking on the door of the season. So we get to that part of the season where we do this every year, y'all, where we make our playoff predictions. Hold on, I need to get a pen. Sorry. Unprepared there for a second. But yeah, so if you're on YouTube, we got the schedule pulled up. I'm going to the group chat to see if anybody outside of my daughter, who has the Bengals at 10-7. So to see, I'll just check with the Goat Killer while he's up there. But we'll start to go through them. Sandman will get his on the record too. And then we'll go from there. All right. So let me get you up here. And then me. All right. So week 1, hosting against the Bucks. Open in Orange.
We better kill the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going to dub there too. They're in turmoil because of their quarterback situation.
Their offense is
Yeah, that's a whole situation.
But they got that Ohio State receiver.
Ugh. Yeah, but he's again he's always played well against the Bengals, but with the Browns. But yeah, so all right, so I have a W there as well. Week 2 at the Texans.
Ugh.
It's the Texans. It's not their home opener. They open up 2 games in a row at home. So, but I think they play either Buffalo or the Chiefs in week 1, something crazy like that.
But we have a lose to black Ohio State quarterback problem.
I mean that's a whole nother topic. They are home against Buffalo week 1.
Right.
The Texans. So
Right.
I would take that as an L just because it's a game. It had nothing to do with him. Because I think he may not be very good either.
Right. I'm not
Yeah.
signing to a. I'm not signing to
I'm not signing
$40 million
to
a
an
year.
extension. Okay, so
Right.
all right,
But
so
he's been good enough, unfortunately.
yeah,
For
so
us.
all right, so I'm going 1-1.
I'm
One
going
and
1-1 too,
okay.
unfortunately.
At the Steelers, I think the Steelers are going to be an absolute dumpster. I really do because their quarterback is old, and I don't think people appreciated how much Omar Epps kept them groups of dudes together, like at all. Like I think the playing for him was part of the lore, and taking that out for a head coach who's just going to be filleting their
Right, right,
quarterback at all times.
yes, Mr. Rogers. Yes, Mr. Rogers.
Yes,
He's smart enough to keep $8 million a year by
yeah,
not ruffling feathers.
yeah. I think that's a bad idea. So I'm taking a dub there
Ooh, that'd be
at
nice to win
Pittsburgh.
at
What
Pittsburgh.
do you got?
I say we win. I don't know how.
Okay. Jacksonville. In Cincinnati, I'm taking a dub there as well.
Put Flacco in, we win.
Yeah. All right. At the Dolphins, I'm also taking a
That should be if we don't. Well, if everybody's still healthy, we better go for
That's a
better
team.
go for 50.
That's a team trying to get a top quarterback position. They do not. I live here.
They'll get it.
I live here. They don't want to win. Like they are really trying to not win.
They got like $50 million in dead money or something crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, it's bad. Week against the bye, that's fine. Week 7 at the Ravens. It's not on Thanksgiving, or not on like a Thursday night football. Right. But I'll take an L there, just because even though they won there last year. But I'll take an L.
They might be undefeated going to that game too.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, week 8, the Titans are bad, so I'm taking a dub there.
Yes.
Okay, wait a second.
Damn, the season go by quick to week 9. Yeah. I was like, damn, I'm gonna get my ticket and I'm gonna be there. There could be some good seats available.
In Spain?
No, this is before I found out I was going to Spain. And then I'm like, motherfuck.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, shouts out for my potentials. I mean, again, Dolphin tickets right now are going for that game, and the high nosebleeds were like in $70 or so. If the Dolphins suck, they'll be in the $30 or so. So yeah, all right. So and then the home to the Steelers, I'm also taking a dub there too. I think they're going to be.
We got to be 4-2 at the minimum in the division,
right?
And one has got to be a Raven win.
Okay. At the Skins, at the Commanders.
We got to beat them. Let them beat themselves.
I would agree with that as well.
Put up 50.
Home for the Saints.
Put up 50.
Yeah, home for the Saints. I'm taking that as well. At the Browns, they're trying to lose as well.
They are.
Yeah.
Somebody that we all know and whatever is like one of the teams that Sanders might be going to is the Bengals. And I was like, sir, or person, I'm like, there's a good chance that the Bills will never have a black starting quarterback again in my life.
Wait, is that the other G Money? Columbus G Money? Correct.
I'm like, there ain't no way in hell that we go get Deion's son ever.
Yeah, that's beyond smoking opium.
Right. I mean, right. Not even if he was good, we ain't signing him.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
We don't want to deal with Deion.
No. Week 14, home for the Chiefs.
We gotta win it.
Yeah.
Because we cannot. If we lose to the Texans and what was the other loss we got? The Ravens in there.
The Ravens.
Yeah. So.
Division game.
Right. The division games, AFC North game, the division AFC in the games. If you lose to the Texans and they don't win their division, then you go from the 5 slot to the 6 slot, maybe.
Yeah.
And that rope gets short.
Yeah. At the Panthers.
But you gotta beat that. You gotta beat that ass.
Yeah. Colts are gonna be bad. That's another
right, because that's
Yeah.
Yeah, the Colts are bad, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens. But they're sitting there too.
Yeah, that's a bad team.
Yeah,
Hosting the Ravens.
but that game is probably for the division,
Mm-hmm.
and
So
you gotta win it.
yeah, and then hosting the Browns in a game that probably doesn't maybe means everything and maybe
Right,
means nothing.
right.
Yeah.
Check out that Ravens schedule. There, a lot of people predicting them to be like 10-0 before they lose a game.
So both of us. So Goat Killer had them 12-5. We got them at 13-4.
Yeah, so that's
So you take
nice.
a game off of each side, or a game and a half off each side. So that's about 12-5, 11-6. Yeah,
You kind of got to be 12-5 to win the division.
yeah. Over who? The Ravens?
The Ravens. Look at their schedule. I mean, they got all the weak games that we got,
Yeah, but
and
they, well,
you know
they didn't. I
they
forgot
get they get to play the Bills instead of us. Thank
Mm-hmm.
goodness for that. And they get to play the Chargers, I think, in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But their schedule's pretty soft too.
Yeah. So I'd say 12-5 is probably solid. 13-4 at the maximum or whatever like that. That's I swear every year we do this, at least the last 3 years, and it's just like the one year that we were like, oh, I think they're gonna suck was the year they got jobbed in Kansas City. Well, the year they got jobbed in Kansas City. We were like, oh, this is gonna be a fall off. They're not gonna, be able to follow this up, but the whole thing. And then they did it. And then the other years, they're like, man, they got to bounce back. And then they just haven't, whether it be injuries to him or something, it just hasn't worked out. So if again, though, barring anything unforeseen, if not now,
then
win.
You got to make the playoffs. So whatever,
if
you're the 7th seed and you got to play the number 2, who is probably going to be whoever. I mean, Baltimore
again,
or the Texans or whoever.
Nobody has wants Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase coming into their stadium. It's just you're going to have to play really well. Like, I mean, again, look at, even though he lost the game with the interception, the freaking Buffalo game, like, I mean, that was a zero fear situation. And if their defense could have done anything, they would have won that game going away. He couldn't be stopped. Like, they literally couldn't be stopped in that game.
Right.
Literally. And they only stopped themselves on an interception that, again, shouldn't have had to happen because you had to keep going out and scoring points because your defense couldn't stop friggin' air. So, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, right. Make the playoff, win the division, be nice. Make the playoffs, win them 3 road games, and then hopefully the Rams ain't there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they got an aging quarterback too.
They do.
Made one MVP, but barely made it to the start of the season last year. But yes, it'll be interesting to see. I've always felt the redemption arc is going to be a part of the Bengals Super Bowl story. So whether it's the 49ers or the Rams, it would make sense at this point. I mean, it makes more sense to play the Rams over there in the place that you lost to the Rams 5-6 years ago.
4 seasons ago, 5 seasons ago.
Yeah. So, all right. What's the exit music, man? So that's us. We'll try to. I mean, training camp updates are weird because all I'm doing is sitting there with a non-voodoo doll, hoping nobody gets hurt. That's pretty much. I don't even like watching any of that stuff. I don't even like reading the reports because I'm just like, oh, a hamstring here.
I'm not on social media. Actually, the shit. I've done enough Bengal stuff to I get all these prediction shows. I get all these other podcast people coming through, and they're like. And I all these ESPN analysts are saying Joe Burrow's the number 1 quarterback in the league. He's number 2. He's number 3.
Right.
I'm like, let's see him play a whole season first.
Right. I mean, again, the last time he did, I mean, if the team didn't suck, he probably wins MVP. So, last year he only played 6-7 games or something like that. He didn't even play that many. Right. So, like, everything depends on health of 9. If 9 is healthy, they're going to win. They're going to win. 9 is healthy. The minimum winning games with 9, and then now him being there. But him being there, do you win? 3-4 extra games just because he's there? if he's healthy. So we'll find out. That's for sure.
We will find out. I'm gonna say let's go with back and forth by Cameo.
Ooh, okay. All right, back and forth. That one's not about cocaine.
No, I don't
okay. Well, man, it had been the last 10 years that I found out that candy was about cocaine. I don't know.
Damn, I didn't know that. Wait
what? Look up the lyrics, sir. Look up the lyrics.
I was listening to that on the way back to the house today.
Look at this.
It takes over me. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I want to know if you feel it too.
Yeah.
And probably.
No, ain't no probably.
Right.
That's about
started now.
Yeah, it's about drugs. Yeah.
Oh, damn. All right, so that makes it adds up now. Shit, you want to know how it threw me off? That fucking what was it, 38 special? Hold on.
About masturbation. Yes, absolutely.
Damn.
Yeah. Was it wrapped up tight? You keep me
right.
up all night. Yeah.
Right. Or I lose control.
Yeah. They was doing their thing. Shouts out to double entendres.
Yeah, maybe triple. But sure. Yeah, the Bengals, right. It's one play, one game at a time with the Bengals.
Yep.
If I'm the Ravens, I'm printing up playoff tickets right now. If I'm the Bills, I'm printing up playoff tickets. And if I'm the Rams, I'm getting playoff tickets. The Bengals, I'm gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think we'll know a lot before that bye week. Like if they're somehow split these 5 games, 3-2, 2-3, something like that, it'll tell me everything that I'll need to know. But if they're 4-1, something like that, okay, I see what's going on here, because more than likely it's an offensive continuation and the defense just isn't terrible. And again, none of those teams that they're going to play any of them are offensive juggernauts.
No, but actually Buccaneers defenses. Their defensive line is all right, I think.
Yeah, it's good.
Them first four teams.
Yeah.
Right, that's gonna be real interesting on our offensive line.
Yeah, the Texans will be definitely a challenge, but a defense because of their defense, but their quarterback may
wet himself.
Yeah, he may be just a really bad quarterback, and
he might be
and that would continue the line of Ohio State quarterbacks that are not good. He would be on the succession side of that, not the the exception. That's exactly how they look.
That's
moving forward. Yeah, it's bad and terrible, and it sucks for Ohio State outside of them, as not a great recruiting tool. But beyond that, he's pretty much. He's been as successful, at least for one season, as any of the other ones, and they've made the playoffs. But it really hasn't been because of him.
No,
and their losses have definitely been because of him. So, all right. So as Cameo plays us out, don't do drugs, y'all. This is not an endorsement of cocaine.
Well, don't do
illegal drugs.
Right, but say drinking is a drug.
Yeah,
marijuana is kind of legal.
Yeah, take your blood pressure medicine for this season. That's basically what we're saying. Don't take it. Take it other times too, but definitely take it during the season. So we'll see y'all. All right. So Cameo plays us out. I'm the producer of this podcast. I'm signing off. Sign off, Hutch.
Peace in the Middle East and in them streets.
All right, y'all. We'll be I don't know when we'll come back. Maybe after a preseason game. That's probably the safest time. Like preseason game 2, where people actually play. Not preseason game 1, because nobody's going to play in that game. But yeah, preseason game 2, unless there's some sort of breaking news. We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.